Our next guest tonight is calling on Georgia Governor Brian Kemp to look into how his state is a hotbed for such government corruption, particularly when it comes to separating families with no evidence of abuse or neglect.
Shame, shame on the system, no compassion, just greed. Using a special needs child for their funding needs. Cherokee County CPS. Shame on you and your game, not lifting a finger, just causing pain. Instead of helping families, you tear them apart, taking children away, breaking their little hearts, alienating moms, making their kids dependent. Not enough health care services in Georgia, it's just so senseless. Shame on Georgia, shame on CPS. We're praying for justice for a system that's a mess. Special needs kids, they deserve better than this. We won't stop fighting till we find justice. Shame on CPS. We're praying for justice for a system that's a mess. Special needs kids, they deserve better than this. We won't stop fighting until we find justice.
Or to many, many other families in Georgia. It's actually worse than what that wording said. It says that, they're presumed guilty until they can prove themselves innocent. It's actually worse than that. They're presumed guilty and then not allowed to prove themselves innocent. We have family court judges who are refusing to hear the evidence that shows that there was no abuse and that this is a chronic health condition that these children have. And instead they rely on the testimony of the so-called child abuse pediatrician, who very often doesn't bring any paperwork and just says, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was abuse.
And why the railroading? Why would some of these state agencies be so vested in, listening to one person and then excluding all the exculpatory evidence and not paying it much mind?
That's how they get funding. And that's the problem. The system is set up in such a way that in order to maximize the funding that they get both from the state of Georgia and from the federal government through a title in the Social Security Act, the more times they say that there is abuse, the more money they get. And if that child has a chronic health condition, which they then acknowledge after they've taken it from the parents, first they say it's abuse, and then once they have the child seized, they go, oh, this child has a chronic health condition. They get even more money. And then when they place that child for adoption, they get even more money. And not only do the departments get more money, the actual individuals involved in the system get more money. The child abuse physician, the caseworkers, the court judge, everyone involved is basically being paid off. And at this point, it amounts to a child trafficking operation. They are being paid to take children from innocent families and give them to another family. That's child trafficking.